Multiple times in cinema history, there have been many poorly made films. Whether it was the budget that they had or the actors that couldn't act. Some could say it's Grown Ups 2. Others could argue that it's the Emoji Movie. Or maybe a movie company realized how big a YouTube sensation was and put him on the big screen, only for that screen to be put on a television screen. On Nickelodeon. Everyone has a different opinion on what the worst movie ever is. But everyone can agree that nothing can compare to the gold that is The Room. For the past 2 months, ever since this year started, I've seen countless amount of memes regarding Tommy Wiseau. I've seen countless best moment videos of The Room. I've heard multiple facts, I've seen multiple clips, I've read everything about this movie. I've even seen multiple clips and read everything about The Disaster Artist, which recently just came out about a few months ago, which is actually based off of the making of The Room. But I haven't exactly seen The Room until this past week. I have not had so much fun watching a movie ever until I saw The Room. If you've heard about this movie, if you've heard about this guy, then you know what I'm talking about. In 2003, a movie called The Room was released, and Jesus, it was awful. It was made by a man named Tommy Wiseau, who not only produced the film, but wrote it, directed it, and even starred in it as the main character, Johnny. Nobody knew who Tommy Wiseau was, nobody knew where he got the money to make this film. The Room is said to be one of the best, worst movies ever made. And that's saying a lot. If you're somebody under the age of 13 years old, chances are you probably haven't seen this film, and if you have, you probably shouldn't have. There's a lot of sex scenes in it, it's definitely an adult film, it's rated R. The Room is a dramatic romance film, and if you were to ask somebody what the plot of the film is, chances are nobody's going to tell you what the plot is, because it's very hard to understand what the plot of this movie is since you have so many things happening at once. But it's actually very simple when you actually watch the film and kind of grasp the idea of what the whole plot is about. The Room focuses on a guy named Johnny, who's, I guess, supposed to be an all-around nice guy, and the world just revolves around him, like everything goes right for him. And he's engaged to his future wife, Lisa. Future wife. I know there's another word for that, but he doesn't like that word very much, Tommy, and it's just never said in the film. Lisa and Johnny are the happiest couple, and they're going to get married and be very happy. However, Lisa is starting to no longer love Johnny, and is slowly starting to get attracted to his best friend, Mark, and they're having sex when Johnny's not around. That's pretty much the whole film. It's just one of those engaged couple, girl does not like engaged guy anymore and is now attracted to his best friend film. But honestly, if you were to sit down and watch this hour and 40-minute film, it's kind of hard to detect that plot because that's only like a quarter of the film. The rest of the film involves Johnny and his friends throwing a football around, and Lisa talking with her mom that for some reason comes over for 2 minutes and then leaves, and then majority of it is just sex scenes. And there's a birthday party at the end. A lot of people joke around with this film, and it is by far one of the worst movies ever made. It was poorly done. The acting is so bland in it. I think there's only about one person in the movie that actually can act and I felt emotion from. But we don't really get her name. There were just multiple people in this film that just show up and their character is just never explained. We never get their name. It's just so random. It's one of those movies, however, that is so bad that it is so funny. And that's why I had so much fun watching it. Every scene that came on the screen, I laughed so hard. I was tearing up at the end because everything just doesn't make sense. So many things are wrong with this film. One of the things is if you look very closely in the background in the apartment scenes, you'll notice that there are a bunch of photos of spoons. just because. There are a number of scenes where they go outside and play football. In fact, there's one scene where they dress up in suits and play football for like a minute. There's one scene where they're tossing a football in an alleyway and a character, Mike, gets pushed very gently, but he makes like a scene out of it and like crashes into trash cans, and it's just so over dramatic and it's like not needed, but it's just really funny on how it's playing out. And then we have scenes that are basically memes at this point. Like there's one scene where Lisa's mom admits that she has breast cancer, and that's it. Like, that's the only, we only hear it once. Like, it's not played out like, oh my god, you have breast cancer. She's like, no, I have breast cancer, I'm dying. And that's it. That's all she says about it. She's like, it'll be fine. No, it's not gonna be fine. You just said you were dying, and that you have breast cancer. You can't just play it out like it's nothing. And then we got the infamous roof scene where Johnny comes up and claims that he never hit Lisa, which is a lie that she's spreading around, that Johnny hit her. He goes up, throws an empty water bottle, says he doesn't hit anybody, and then he says hi to Mark. The scene is just golden. Like, it's just probably the best thing that has ever been made in worst film history. The fact that this movie has gotten such a big reception is, like, amazing. Because it's so bad, and everyone knows that it's bad. But because it's so bad, it's laughable, and people love it. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to see it, because, again, it's so bad, it's good. And it was good. It was the worst thing ever, and I laughed so much that I had pains in my stomach when I was going home. I sometimes wonder what the movie would be like if it actually was good. Like if scenes were shot right and if the acting was better. But I know for a fact it would probably not have the same reception that it has now. Because nobody's going to want to watch an ordinary romantic film that's all boring. You want to watch a romantic film by Tommy Wiseau that has pictures of spoons in the background and multiple sex scenes and multiple football scenes and... Jesus Christ. I don't know what else to say. I think after watching it, it's like one of my favorite films to watch. Like, I'll watch it multiple times now. Like, I doubt I'll ever get sick of it. Because it's just so ridiculous and it's funny. That's going to be it for this, I guess. I don't really have much more to say about The Room that hasn't already been said about it for anybody who's talked about it on YouTube. If you are young, if you're under the age of 13, I'd highly suggest not watch it. Mostly because it's not a film for children. I'm going to leave off with that. The Room is just a masterpiece. Tommy Wiseau is a god. So that's all I have to say about The Room. Now I want to hear what you guys think. Have you actually seen The Room, and what are your thoughts on it? Do you agree or disagree with anything that I said in this video? Tell me in the comments, and also leave me your suggestions, whatever movie, TV show, or anything you want me to talk about next. Thanks for watching The Wild Review. I'm The Wild Reviewer, and you just saw me review a thing. Jesus. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you for The Room. Harry Styles is not a breakout artist. Harry Styles has been around since I was in the 7th grade. He's not a breakout artist. Honestly, aside from Noah Cyrus, who I've heard, he's the only one whose voice I could think of in my head. I've heard of Cardi B and Camila Cabello, Alicia Cara, I think I've heard of Khalid, I don't know.
Wild like wildlife.